demonstration. So please give a warm welcome for Lynn Jamieson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The nuclear arms race is part of what's made possible the hell that is going on in Gaza. And the complicity of the nuclear states, the way that they have not spoken up against what's happening, the way they haven't been able to name it as genocide, is partly because of their own willingness to commit genocide. If you think about a nuclear weapon, there isn't anything any more genocidal than a nuclear weapon. And the history of Israel as a nuclear state has been one that has been tolerated and ignored, particularly by the United States, but in fact by all of the nuclear armed states. None of them have really called out Israel's nuclear weapons. Israel's been known to have nuclear weapons since they started to develop them in the 1950s. They've always been unable to say it out loud. They've always denied it. They've always lied about it. They've always been completely secretive about it. But it's been very well known. And the United States in particular has been complicit with it, but also the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom and the United States, of course, cozy up to each other. The United Kingdom is like the poodle of the United States in terms of the whole nuclear issue. And so if you think about the nuclear arms race and the way that it is corrosive, they talk to us as if it is security, as if it is deterrence, when in fact what it actually is a bullying threat of mass destruction for the world. And they say that is their legitimate right to treat people like that, to treat the rest of the world like that, to treat other states, other nations like that. That kind of thinking our politicians in this country have bought into for decades. And that kind of thinking is corrosive. It is encouraging to a kind of military-industrial complex that does put profit always before everything else and is prepared to lead to this kind of utter hell that is going on in Gaza. In the first 26 days in Gaza, they dropped something like over 20,000 tons of bombs. And in TNT times, calculation, that's equivalent to 2 nuclear bombs in the first 26 days on a small area of Gaza. It's not actually the same as a nuclear bomb because the fireball of a nuclear bomb and the shock wave that follows and the radiation actually would mean that the whole region was totally and utterly uninhabitable from Israel, all the neighbouring states. But in tonnage it was the same, so that kind of hell, utterly unacceptable. Israel stayed outside of all of the non-proliferation treaty, all of the arms reduction treaties that the rest of the nuclear states signed up to, with the exception of North Korea. And they've been allowed to do that, always because of their complicity with the United States in particular. So you need to stand up to the whole nuclear industry as well as the arms trade, and they're utterly interconnected. So the companies that are sending arms to Israel, the names that you already know, BAE Systems, Leonardo, they are also the companies that are building nuclear weapons. So it's time to stop all of this. It's time for us to stand up to our own government and get them out of this nonsense business, and to admit that this is a complete and utter charade and not a defence, but actually a form of genocide.